As I understand it, Jeff, this is the most attended wrestling event maybe of my lifetime outside of Korea or something crazy like that. I mean, over 80,000 tickets are sold. And this is a show we're going to study and talk about for a long, long time. We're just a few days away. Wembley Stadium, all in London. I mean, can we even put into words how big this is for AEW and just the wrestling business as a whole?
So, and Conrad, we have been so busy this summer. Me and you have not had our fireside chats like we have had.
Usually do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And here's something that in a lot of ways, I don't want to call it the rule book, but the status quo, or when you hear where I'm going with this, I think you'll have it has been such a incredible experience up to this point, because north of 70,000 tickets were sold without one match announced.
Jeff, that to me is the most fascinating thing. I think we will study this show forever.
Yes.
Because the reality is, on some level, and I think you know what I mean, but I mean no disrespect to the very talented AEW roster or Tony Khan as a booker, but the star of the show is almost the building. It's like people were so excited. Yes, I love AEW, but there is a major wrestling event happening at this building. We got to go. And I'm not saying that they weren't there to say AEW. I don't mean to say that wrong. I'm just saying the conversation hasn't been about, man, I can't wait to see this guy wrestle that guy as we sold those 70,000 tickets. It was about, man, I can't believe AEW is running Wembley Stadium. Like, on some level, the building is the attraction. And Eric Bischoff said it so eloquently last week on 83 Weeks. The star of the show on this one is the fans. It's going to be just a sea of humanity. I mean, there's some pretty iconic theme songs in AEW. And can you imagine like how a guy like Mikey Ruckus, who by the way is going to be on stage talking about the music of AEW, and your old pal Dale Oliver. I don't think he's ever done anything like this before, but their theme songs are going to be echoing through a place where we've seen U2 concerts that people still talk about to this day. And we've seen Queen concerts. And I mean, these are legendary moments. And man, just the SummerSlam show over there from 92 is still discussed in such reverence. I mean, this is the AEW WrestleMania 3, and it's this Sunday. And they did it without having Hogan and Andre announced. And based on what I understand, like, more people will be at that show maybe than even get or get a chance to watch the show on a weekly basis over there. This is just, it's one for the history books, man. It's really amazing.
And I'll take a little bit different twist. We are saying the same thing, but a little bit different. Hypothetically speaking, if you would have announced Impact Wrestling at Wembley Stadium, they wouldn't have sold 70,000 tickets. If you would have announced New Japan Pro Wrestling, if you would have announced AAA, I'm trying to stay in the wrestling genre, but also, when the brand of NFL goes to the United Kingdom, is it really the Cowboys that draw? Is it really the Bears? We both know. No, it's the spectacle of the brand playing on their their pitch. So, and look, and I know WWE was successful in Cardiff. I'm not so sure, this may ruffle some feathers, I'm not so sure. There's a different business model, but when you think, because they've been in the market since the 80s, but the first time, that's why Conrad just out of the rule book and the thought process.
You build, Jeff. You run a smaller show, then you build to the bigger show. You don't start with a dome.
What I'm saying is all of that's thrown out the window.
Yes.
Announced, start as big as you possibly can. There's other arenas. Glasgow's got, there's not arenas, stadiums. There's stadiums, several of them. But you start with Wembley on the 100th anniversary, no match announced, just the brand is coming. Conrad.
And not only that, Jeff, we haven't even mentioned this. I'm going to be watching from Alabama. Believe it or not, WWE's running a house show in Huntsville at the Von Braun Center the same day.
Yeah.
So some of my best friends and my sister-in-law, and they're all going to be in town. So we're going to be doing a family barbecue at my house. And at noon, I'll turn on my AEW pay-per-view. Not 7:00 at night, not 8:00 at night, not on a Saturday night, not on a Sunday night. Like church gets out, okay, let's go watch Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay. What?
Yeah.
I mean, this throws out all the rules, and it still worked. But you're exactly right. The biggest gamble was it was the first time. Like when I heard, hey, they're running Wembley, I assumed, oh man, that's awesome. They're finally going. They'll sell out that arena, no problem. No, it's not Wembley Arena. It's Wembley Stadium.
Yep.
That's just amazing to me. I'm so happy for the boys and girls. I'm so happy for Tony Khan and AEW. And I'm really happy for wrestling fans because that shows you that they were underserved. They were starved for it. They're ready for it. And if I'm honest with you, I'm kind of excited that we don't have all the matches announced. And I'm kind of excited that we don't know everything that's going to happen. At first, I thought, man, I really wish we had this great mega story I could sink my teeth into that we got excited about for 6 months. And I think a lot of people speculated, oh, well, based on what happened last year, they'll definitely do A, B, C or whatever. But I'm happy with the matches that we've gotten. But I think there's enough leeway because we know those AEW pay-per-views sometimes, well, they're not going to be a 2-hour affair. It might go a little longer. And since it's noon, I'll be game for that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a big deal. But, man, they've got an opportunity. Can you imagine? And I'm not saying there are. I don't have any inside knowledge. I'm not asking you for any. But if there is just one surprise of any level that's not announced, that crowd is going to be so on fire. I mean, I'm really regretful that I'm not going to be a part of that crowd because when people say, hey, if you had a time machine and you could go back and you could be at any one show, I always say WrestleMania 3. This is the AEW and UK equivalent of WrestleMania 3, and it happens this weekend. It's all in. Make plans to check it out.